Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, ready to update you on several things. It's about Chelsea, it's about Man United, it's about Jadon Sancho, Liverpool and Isak. Let's jump into it together. And here we are guys, as usual, with all the updates, and today let me start with Liverpool because there is a lot of movement in this domino of players. Dango Ouattara leaves Bournemouth and goes to Brentford. The deal is done and agreed, and so Brentford ready to replace Vissa, who is expected to join Newcastle this summer if everything goes to plan, still negotiating. And then, also important to say, Liverpool sell Ben Doak to Bournemouth. The deal is done. It's a here we go, it's agreed. Porto are not in the mix, Stuttgart are not in the mix. The player is going to Bournemouth. Porto called 3 days ago to ask about the player, and the answer from Liverpool was the player has been sold to Bournemouth 3 days ago. So agreement done, Ben Doak goes to Bournemouth, new winger and new talent for them, massive business for Liverpool, generating again money from the outgoings, and so Ben Doak to Bournemouth is a here we go. But then Liverpool maintain their full focus. Giovanni Leoni is a new Liverpool player. We know that, it's done, it's signed. 2031, a 6-year contract, the exclusive detail I gave you last night. Mark Gehi, the negotiation continue for the defender to join Liverpool, and then the main focus remains Alexander Isak. Today, important words by Eddie Howe, the manager of Newcastle, saying tomorrow, obviously, this weekend, Alexander Isak will not be with the squad against Aston Villa, so the message is just a confirmation of what I already told you, and it was already clear for the player not to be with the squad anymore. He doesn't want to play with Newcastle anymore, and Eddie Howe says, the situation has been like this for a while, and I think it's gonna be like this again. So what does it mean? That Isak doesn't want to play this game, but also next game, but also next game. Isak wants to go to Liverpool, and now it's very clear to everyone this. It's not just the player maybe upset, and then we are going to sort the situation. The message from the player is very clear. Liverpool Football Club. So remember that Liverpool are ready to bid. Remember that Liverpool are very ready on this one. Remember that Liverpool are ready to sign Alexander Isak in these final 2 weeks of the transfer window. So now, let's wait for the next steps. Let's wait for Newcastle, because now there is the Vissa negotiation, as I told you. Ben Doak to Bournemouth. Bournemouth sell Dango Ouattara to Brentford, and so Vissa allowed to go to Newcastle, and now we will see what's next for Newcastle, because they need at least one more and still have to close the deal for Vissa. So let's follow that situation. Also to follow the situation of Christopher Nkunku, guys. I always told you in these weeks, while there were reports of done deal for Xavi Simons to Chelsea, I told you the deal is quite advanced, 70, 75, then 80%. The deal was evolving, but always waiting for the outgoings. The plan at Chelsea has always been sell and then bring in. After what they did with Delap, with Joe Pedro, with all the others, now the focus is sell and then bring in new players. Garnacho, very advanced, as I told you last night. Xavi Simons, also advanced, with Xavi waiting for Chelsea. But the outgoings, well, I told you also yesterday in the video that Bayern consider Christopher Nkunku as a target. And I can tell you that already in the last few days, since they accelerated in talks to sell Kingsley Coman to Al Nassr, the deal is now done on a 3-year contract, Bayern, behind the scenes, working on the deal for Nick Woltemade, who remains a deal still on, very difficult, but still on. So Bayern are not giving up, but also talking to Chelsea and to the agents of Christopher Nkunku. Bayern has an agreement with Christopher Nkunku ready since January on the contract, and that agreement would be still valid now. So on the contract there is no problem. Nkunku is very keen on the move to Bayern. But now depends on club to club, because Chelsea said in a very clear way to Bayern that Nkunku is only leaving on a permanent transfer. At least this is their stance today. So Chelsea want permanent transfer for Nkunku, permanent transfer for Nico Jackson. That's the message coming from Chelsea. If Nkunku leaves, for Xavi Simons will be way easier to complete his move to Chelsea, because they're almost ready with the player, they're ready, club to club, advancing, very advanced, but still waiting to complete that deal, because it also depends on the outgoings, and so as I mentioned, Nkunku and all the rest. So let's follow that situation, but Nkunku Bayern is one to watch, and the situation obviously of Xavi Simons for Chelsea, with the main focus from Chelsea on that one. Just to answer to many of you, but Man City tried to hijack the deal for Xavi Simons, reports in the press. For Man City is very clear. Savinho can stay. If Savinho leaves and goes to Tottenham, Rodrigo is the target. So that's the story. Xavi Simons, at the moment, is negotiating with Chelsea, not with Manchester City. Then guys, on the other side of Manchester, we know about Baleba. I told you everything. I remind you to check the video from last night to hear more, but as I told you, Man United are prepared to remain in contact with Brighton in the next days. Today, the manager of Brighton, Fabian Hürzeler, said in a very clear way that he's very, very confident to keep the player at the club. So that's the position of Brighton. We know it's a difficult deal. We know Brighton want to keep Baleba. And also the manager confirms this stance, this feeling. But Man United still want to try, so we will follow the situation in the next days. Then, for Man United, guys, the goalkeeper topic. At the moment, with Donnarumma, still nothing advanced, as I told you. They are aware of the situation, aware also of the cost of the deal to sign Gianluigi Donnarumma, but at the moment, no active talks ongoing, because the focus is on the midfielder. The priority is the midfielder for Man United. In case they go for a goalkeeper, don't forget a name I gave you in July, and this is Lammens, the young goalkeeper of Royal Antwerp in Belgium, because United still like the player. United still have the player on their shortlist. They still have to decide whether they want to go for a goalkeeper or not. It will also depend on the budget, on what happens with Baleba, what happens with the midfielder. So there is kind of puzzle for Manchester United in these final 2 weeks of the window, also including Lammens at the moment for the situation of Donnarumma. Very quiet with Manchester City in talks, but let's see if Manchester United will decide to do a move also for a goalkeeper or not. At the moment, for Lammens, Manchester United are still thinking of this player if they bring in a new goalkeeper. And then guys, remember also the situation of the outgoings at Manchester United. I did a specific video about that last night, so again, if you want to know more, check that one. But on Jadon Sancho, the update of today is that Manchester United would be ready to accept Roma proposal for Jadon Sancho, £20 million, loan with obligation. Now, the deal depends on Sancho, because for Man United, this is the best proposal they received this summer for Sancho. £20 million is a loan with obligation, but is almost guaranteed, way easier compared to what was the deal with Chelsea. So in this case, club to club, no problems, and also quite advanced. The deal now depends on Sancho. Sancho has to decide what he wants to do. Over the week, Sancho opened the doors to a potential move to Italy, but then one thing is to open the doors, and one thing is to agree personal terms, especially for a player like Sancho, with a big salary. So Sancho has to decide what he wants to do, but for sure, it's going to be an important story. Sancho, Garnacho, Antony, and all the rest for Manchester United to find the solution with the outgoings and then go for the new midfielder. And let's see what's going to happen with the goalkeeper. Lammens is a name we have to keep for sure for Manchester United. But movements are expected for the Red Devils in these final weeks of the window, also for the outgoings. Don't forget Rasmus Højlund, because if he's not going to play this weekend, we will see what Ruben Amorim will decide. From next week, his exit can become really, really concrete with a similar interest, and not only because Højlund can really leave Manchester United in his final days. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories, from Nkunku to Xavi Simons, but also Sancho, Isak, Lammens, and all the rest. Let me know your opinion, guys. Here in the comments, remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon, here with Fabrizio. As always, ciao.